Welcome, everybody, to Dan Excelsior episode 175.
We did it. We made it this
Yeah,
far.
that's a mile. What milestone is that? What do I get you for your anniversary? Your once
Well, I have an Amazon wish list.
is that another hand ninja?
Oh God, God no, please. No more hand ninjas. Don't do
I'm
it.
your host. I'm your host, Ricky. Your other host for 175 episodes, Dennis.
Welcome to the 175th. We got a big one for you today. No, not really. It's just another
Not
episode.
one, but 2 episodes of Daredevil.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm kind of upset about that. I just got done. I've been saying all month long how excited I am to have multiple weeks of this, and they just cut me short by a week. They just surprised me. What was
when
that?
you put a filler episode next to a filler episode, you get a sandwich.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's kind of dismissive. They're fine. They're good. We'll talk about it later.
I did put in the title. It's filler time. On the thumbnail of our show, it says it's filler time. So
yeah.
I am on the same page.
We're getting 16 episodes of Daredevil and there ain't no filler in that? There were filler in the Netflix shows, and those are only like 8 episodes.
No, they're all good. It's cool. We'll talk about it more later. But yeah, no, it's I'm just bummed because I've heard also that the final 2 episodes will be released together as well. So if that's true, then we only have 2 more weeks.
It doesn't over. Yeah, I mean they don't want to overlap with Thunderbolt. Andor's after Andor's before Thunderbolts. You're right.
Yeah, I think they like to have one premiere show at a time.
I mean, we also talked about the Andor's doing like 3 episodes a week.
I know.
And Andor's that's like 3 hours.
That's dense, dude. That's too much. Like that's like, I always say like to each their own if they want to do it, but like I don't recommend ever binging Breaking Bad.
I mean,
you do not binge Breaking Bad.
I did binge Andor, I will say. Well, we did 3 episodes. It's like 3. They're connected in a sense for each of the 3.
I feel like that's eating pasta after eating pasta. You know what I mean?
Oh, that show heavy. Makes you think and
you want to kill yourself a little bit, right? Just even like I don't know, man. I feel like that's too heavy. It's too heavy of content to have back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
I'm not really endorsing anybody killing themselves. I'm saying sometimes you feel like
it's a big meal. It's a big meal. It's a big thinking meal. You feel kind of icky after it for reasons that are not the fault of its own.
But that's honestly why I've enjoyed getting Daredevil 1 episode at a time, because like can you imagine if like last week's episode had another one after that? I'd be like, no, thank you, please. That's too much. Like that was intense. Like that was too much. So I will say, like, I think that's the big sign that this week was what felt very fillery. Is it felt very easy to go on to the next one because number 5 was like, that was there, and then number 6 was like, that was there too, like so. But yeah, okay, I'm done doing that. What else you got going on for this week? What have you been doing?
Well, I finished Severance is done.
All right, cool. That means it's time for me to re-up. I just finished a bunch of other shows, like Reacher ended today.
Mm-hmm.
Invincible ended last week, I think, or was it last week? No, 2 weeks ago. And Harley ended last week. So I got like nothing to watch. So I guess it's time to re-up my 30-day trial of Apple and watch
that show punches just as hard in its finale. They do a thing with the innies that like is the biggest gut punch, I would say.
All right.
And it also looks good. Like that show is probably one of the better looking or better shot shows on right now. So highly recommend Severance. You probably have it easier that you get to binge it because it gets a little heady sometimes. Might be a little easier.
I like binging. I like the idea of binging Severance. I think I binged it last time too. Yeah.
But while you have Apple TV, I would recommend, even though I only just seen one episode, The Studio, the new
I've heard it's good.
uh,
Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg.
Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg show about him being a studio exec. They're kind of pulling the Entourage card, right? Where there's a lot of Hollywood,
Seth's famous friends kind of thing.
Seth's famous friends popping up as themselves. But I think the at least cooler part is it's very relevant to like very recent films on what they choose to poke fun at. And they're not afraid to like name IPs. Like the main IP in the show is Kool-Aid, for better or for worse.
Okay.
And the amount of shit that Kool-Aid, or amount of time people shit on Kool-Aid in that film, is like, I don't know how they got approved to say Kool-Aid.
That's funny. That's good.
I enjoy but it's really funny. They what was their last show was Pam and Tommy, right?
Yeah, unless you count Invincible.
That's because it's a cartoon.
Jeez, man.
No,
the cartoonism.
Invincible's great. Apparently, they're still working on a movie too. That was a little Robert Kirkman nugget. He said, "I'll be shocked if it never comes out," which means nothing.
Yeah. I mean, when are we going to get a Spawn movie again? You know, like McFarlane's been saying that for years.
It's Jamie Foxx is still tied to that. That was like the big talk of like 2 Comic-Cons ago, right?
I guess. I don't know, man. I mean, it's been a while.
Dude just lost his toys. Now it's the perfect time to
do a movie. He lost toys that he doesn't consider significant enough. You know, like he has a lot of product, dude. He has Disney toys. I think he still makes the sports toys, doesn't he?
He does the statues.
Okay, gotcha.
Or like the little whatever the mini statues.
He does Marvel statues too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about McFarlane.
And he just got Turtles, right? That was the big thing.
We got Turtles and Mortal Kombat classics. Yeah, so they'll be fine. We're not worried about a giant corporation. It's fine. we're not doing that. We're not.
I'm worried about millionaire Todd McFarlane's money. Okay.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. You want to talk about other millionaires?
Sure.
I gave money to a different millionaire this week. I went to your favorite comic store in San Diego.
Hey.
Now or never. And I've got a Batman comic.
Is that a Jim Lee Batman?
It's Jim Lee. It's Hush Part 2. It's the beginning of it.
Is your first time there?
Yeah, it's my first time there.
Do you like it?
It's okay. I'm biased. There's an upstairs and no elevator.
Yes,
so
yes, it's an upstairs.
The whole place looks like a converted studio apartment.
I think it pretty much is, yeah.
I think it is a converted studio apartment. So I'm not going to knock on them. They're very nice guys. I actually happened to meet the owners yesterday. Aaron and Zach, I believe. I have their business card right here. And they were very excited to see the stuff that I've been working on. And so they are excited to have a place to showcase some of my art as we get closer to Free Comic Book Day. So it was cool. It was cool. I liked them. And we had fun talking about the fact that I haven't bought a single issue of a comic book in about 10 years, and Aaron admitted the same thing, which made me feel better because a comic store owner
don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah, he just, I think the older you get, the more sexy digital and trades become. Trades are just a really nice way to get a story.
Actually, I bought a comic today. I bought Born Again, Daredevil Born Again.
It's a good one.
We talked about it in the Marvel Premiere format. It's like the manga size book.
Okay.
They're like $10.
Are they easy to read?
I don't know. It comes here tomorrow.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I think the forum. It's that one. There's a Black Panther one, Fantastic Four, and I think they're working on Civil War. That's later this summer. but in
Yeah,
that bookshelf friendly format.
I have Born Again over there somewhere on the shelf, but not in a big format. Dude. Anyways, back to this Batman book. Like I was excited. Okay, just full disclosure, I have been so busy since yesterday. I have not. I took time to skim through just to look at the art, because I was like, I just want to be like tickled by the art. The art's fine. It's great. It's like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I wish Jim Lee got better as an artist because we know he doesn't have time.
Batman Hush.
It's just more. It's more Batman Hush. But like the one thing that I realized that kind of bummed me out is there's no watercolors, and I kind of really liked that Jim Lee tried a new medium when he did Hush. He tried to push himself to do something, so you remember the flashbacks? Did you ever read that comic?
I've seen the Hush art though. It is very different.
There's flashback sequences where you get to like meet the character Tommy Elliott, who is Hush. And in the flashbacks, Jim Lee did them as watercolor paintings, and they're really beautiful. Like it's different. Like it's just so cool to see how his art can translate when you change the type of tool you use to illustrate it. But yeah, there's none of that in this first issue at all. But what I thought was hilarious is like, I found out about it because I got served a TikTok ad like 2 months ago or a month and a half ago with Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb promoting this thing, and I'm like, wow, okay, cool. I'm back. I'll do it. I don't even think I'm gonna be truthful. I don't even think Hush is that great of a comic book, but I think it's a very cool thing to get 12 solid issues of Jim Lee drawing Batman and his greatest rogues. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's super cool. Like, I actually prefer all of Jeff Loeb's Batman stories that don't include Jim Lee. Like, I prefer the Tim Sale art, like just because it lends itself better to the story. And I think the story was better written too. The stories before Hush. That said, I am a sucker for Jim Lee. And I've been trained to be a sucker for Jim Lee since I was a kid. When I bought 6 covers of X-Men #1, I bought all 5 of the individual covers, and then I bought the gatefold that collects all 5 covers together. And
he did the swimsuit issues, right? That was his.
I probably did some of that stuff too. Yeah. I don't think I have those, but the funny thing is coming to the store and like, I told Now or Never, I'm like, okay, hey, I'm here for 2 reasons. 1, should we collaborate? 2, I want that Batman book. Where is it? And so like, let us show you all the versions you can get. Oh my God. Jim Lee was not messing around, dude. There are so many covers of this book. There was even technically an incentive cover. Stores had the option to release the book technically starting at 6:08 on Tuesday night. So it was kind of like a fake midnight release. 6:08 being the issue of Batman that first premiered Hush like all those years ago. So they did like they had the option of doing midnight releases, but like everybody knows Comic Book Day is Wednesdays. So like, most stores, I guess they were saying they think they know of like 2 stores in San Diego that even bothered to do that. But if you went and bought it on the preview night or whatever, you could get a special cover that was only allowed to be sold that night. So I know you'll go look for that one on eBay now. But then they showed us like Jim Lee drew 3 separate covers. There's also J. Scott Campbell did a cover. I do love J. Scott Campbell. It was a very nice cover. Gabriel Del Otto did a cover. There's a March Madness cover with like Batman dunking on like I think the Joker or something like that. It's ridiculous. There's like a foil cover of the original cover. There's a special like gold-plated Bat logo cover like that's foil. I don't think it's gold, but and then they even had a giant-sized version of the comic. So you can get a blown-up version that's like, I was like, you got a bag and board for that? And they're like, we do not. We do not. Like it's huge. It's like it's a big ass book.
What's the comic book run these days? Like 250? $3.50? They're $5?
It is $6, sir. $6.
That seems expensive. Is that
Oh, you
not?
think that's expensive? I got the gatefold cover that collects 3 of his covers together.
Mm-hmm.
This one was I think $7, $7 or $8, $7 or $8 for this cover. This one comic book. That's crazy.
There's not like I've looked. I never look hard, but I'm always. I don't have a comic book store here. That's close to me. Like, there's just not a way just to order these. Not to knock on Now or Never. I do love going in there. I have purchased multiple items from that store. Like there's just not like an amp.
Before I answer that, let me just
Mhm.
really quick do an internet search. But I believe there is, because I used to do it all the time. But
Like
I
I
just
want
want to.
all of the run of this because I was trying to get the new Spider-Man. What is Ultimate Spider-Man? And that was like a whole thing. Like it was way more work than I wanted to put into like finding these comics.
Yeah, you
But
can go to like, I'm not saying this is the only place to go. You know
mhm,
what? I remember there's two places. Um, let's see. There's So if you want to be old school, and I'm talking like old school because this website is old school.
mhm,
Uh, you can do Mile High Comics, which
okay,
you know of them. You
mhm,
know that they have like a huge uh they're an established presence at San Diego Comic Con every
yeah,
year. So Mile High Comics, you can sign up, you can do subscriptions where you just like, they'll every month they'll mail you an entire box of all the comics that you selected.
mhm,
Their website is like way janky old school HTML though. Like it's just like
yeah.
it's it,
Built on a shoestring, like
it's old school, but like I use them for years,
mhm,
years and years and years. I just told them, like, I want this book, this book, this book. And then like once you set it, you kind of forget it, and they just bill your credit card every month, and you just keep getting them unless you find out about a new book. You go and you add that, or you take one off or whatever. The other one that's like probably for uh, you know, younger audiences and probably a better experience, Midtown Comics.
okay. I've been on Midtown Comics too. I think actually that's the last time I did something like that recurring was all the hip hop covers they did a couple years back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
I did that for like a minute.
if you do Midtown Comics, their website just looks like, a normal website, not like built on, Windows 95 or something like that. And you can do it there. You can do pre-orders. It says save up to 50% with pre-orders right now. This is not sponsored, by the way. I'm not sponsored by either of them, but I am saying both of them are options for people who aren't
There are
able to get to stores.
options after you see if there's a comic book shop next to you.
No, 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 no. I'm not like, look, I'm gonna be honest. Like, yeah, you can always support your local businesses for sure. Support your local comic book store. Like I bought this book at Now or Never, and it felt good to buy a comic from a local business. That said, I don't know that I really want to keep going every month to buy. Because
Yeah, well, they're not. I'm
I'm
talking like a 5 minute drive.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
assuming that there's going to be 12 issues of this book, just like all the Jeff Loeb
Mhm.
stories. And if that's the case, I am not going to be going to the comic store for the next 11 months, minus Comic Con, where I'll just pick up issue 4 there or whatever.
Yeah, you just pick up all of them then.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna figure out a way to get them delivered to me so that I don't have to deal with that mess.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I do feel you though. Like it is important. Like I was honest with the guys, and I told them, like, bro, like, I just do digital. And he's like, no, I feel you. I get it. Like, it's kind of, it's a practical thing. Like, I was like, I go to the airport and I have like a bag full of like trades, and I feel like an idiot because I see somebody like bust out their iPad and they're just like reading whatever comic they want right
Mhm.
then and there. And it's like, he's like, I get it, like I do understand it. And so like, um, it's a user experience kind of thing. Like, is it like you have to weigh the balances always between, supporting the businesses and really just meeting your needs as the end user. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. But that said, when they showed me all the wonderful covers, I said, I will happily just buy this one cover. And then a year from now, I will buy the hardcover that will collect all the other covers that I can look at for fun. And they're like, that's a smart man. And so there you go. But
There you
yeah,
go.
it's wild to think that you could just spend like, if you wanted all the covers, you're dropping like $100
That's an
right then and
issue
there.
too, because every issue has multiple covers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, every issue is going to have multiple covers. The saddest, weirdest part for me when I open
Mhm.
the first page? The first page is an ad for WonderCon, which is 2 days from now. Actually, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, yeah.
It's tomorrow. Sorry, I opened the book
I
yesterday. I
mean,
got it yesterday. It was 2 days from yesterday.
it's still a go.
Well, no, I was like, that's kind of desperate, guys. Like, you're really putting an ad in a book that's going to be in circulation for 2 days before your thing, and then
I mean, it
I've
probably is the biggest book right
I,
now.
yeah, I know, but I from what I've heard, like, here's the thing, like, who's going to book a flight to fly to New York after, or from New York to Anaheim after reading their Batman comic yesterday?
Like,
You know what I
oh
mean?
shit, WonderCon.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So yes, it is the biggest book, but like,
I mean, it's also you gotta. There's a thing in advertising, for lack of a better phrase, you got to show face, right? Like for
I guess I just
for.
feel like
Mm,
that ad space couldn't have been cheap, and it just feels like a sign of strange desperation to hear or to
hey,
see
give us
that.
a booth at Comic Con at this price, and we'll give you some ad space and some comics.
That said, I've heard they're having trouble selling tickets, so you should go.
I'm thinking of going Sunday. My Saturday did get booked, but I will say I do miss. There was a time, uh, probably like 2012. Yeah, I at a WonderCon, I went to an Amazing Spider-Man 2 panel. I went to a Snow White and the Huntsman panel. I think even like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a Godzilla versus Kong. No, it was Godzilla King of Monsters panel. And not to say like the Hollywood, like I don't think it needs to be Comic Con, but just a little more. They got the space. They actually have more space in some instances. One's like an auditorium, like a
Yeah,
proper auditorium. We're also in like, I guess, more accessible for talent, right? You know,
yeah, a little bit, yeah, for sure.
but the thing with those types of like bigger panels like that is they help pull crowds. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hey, Supernatural's going to be in the building at 4 o'clock. Okay, there goes half the convention floor, and
yeah.
it's been missing. Like the panel stuff at WonderCon has been lacking, at least for the
Agreed.
past 4 or 5 years.
I remember I went one time. I went to the Flash Green Arrow panel,
Hmm.
and it was one of those mini WonderCons that they double booked it with Easter, and it was there on a Sunday. I was there on an Easter Sunday, and it was everybody except Flash and Green Arrow at the panel. It was all the people that don't have good enough agents to get them off the hook to be at that panel for Easter Sunday, and it was just awkward because I'm like, man, how you gonna have a Flash and Green Arrow panel without Flash and Green Arrow? Like, it's it just feels it. That's for me. That's like, that sums up the WonderCon experience all the
Yeah,
time, and I think that's the unfortunate part about it. This episode was sponsored by WonderCon, by the way. Go get your tickets.
perhaps we
No,
we have
no,
enjoyed
no.
tickets to WonderCon for quite some time.
I've had fun at WonderCon. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think the panels have ever justified um the
That's true. I've never gone for like panels, but
yeah,
I've had some great panel moments at a WonderCon.
yeah.
I do
I
remember a
mostly like
community
shopping.
panel one year that was always fun. Um, but
If you
yeah,
if you do go, feel free to look for DC icons for me.
okay.
You can text me.
After I find my static.
You called him the right thing. That's awesome. I didn't know you specifically were looking for static. What?
Yes, I like that suit. I like that suit. I like that cover of him in the hat.
Oh,
It's
okay,
his first,
gotcha.
what is the first? It is the first appearance, right? Or
I
no?
don't think. I don't. Maybe from a new issue, a new volume, or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Okay, well, find
Cool.
two. Get one for me.
All right. You got anything else? Or you want to move to news?
No, man, I'm just excited. I bought a comic. That is pretty cool. I bought a comic. I finished Reacher this week.
You met your quota for the year.
I met my quota. No, I'll get 11 more. I'll get 11 more. No, I got nothing else. I mean, I got something else, but I think it's going to be discussed in the news.
All right.
I think we're going to talk about it.
We'll skip the big one first and go with the fresh news. A new Marvel game got announced. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This is coming from Tribute Games. It is a beat 'em up style game featuring
a lot of Marvel characters.
Yeah, a roster of your favorite
Yeah.
Marvel heroes.
I saw that today about 5 times on different TikTok posts. My TikTok was freaking out about this game, and it looks cool. Tribute Games, I think they made the Ninja Turtles like spiritual sequel to the arcade games, right? Like I can't remember what the name of the game was.
Sewer something.
No, not Sewer something.
Sewer something. They made Shredder's Revenge.
Thank you, Shredder's Revenge. It's a great game.
Sewer
It's a great game. It had online multiplayer. It really felt like you were playing the old school arcade games with slightly cleaner graphics. I do think there was a diminishing returns on the replay of that game. Like, yeah, you're leveling up your turtles or Casey Jones or whatever. Like they added Usagi Yojimbo, they added some other characters, but like it just didn't really feel like it was worth the many replays, I guess. I played with my friends a bunch, but for a little while, like for maybe a week. So I'm just I'm hesitant. I hope that they have learned since then to add more roguelike mechanics. You know what I mean? That would be really great if you like earn points that you could go and spend outside of the game to like enhance the characters or make them level up or maybe unlock costumes for something like, you know what I mean? I know you're not going to get costumes on a 2D drawn game, but you know what I mean? Like it would be cool if we had more, because I think that's the thing is whenever you're playing toys, you want lots of accessories for your toys.
You want to keep playing toys.
Yeah. Speaking of playing toys, like DC dropped a gacha game last week.
Game looks like dog shit.
It doesn't look like dog shit. I quit after about 2 hours of playing it, and then I went and looked up videos about it the next day. I re-downloaded it, and I've been playing it since. I enjoy it, but it is really weird to play a game that limits when you can play sometimes. I know they're trying to get me to buy like energy or something
DC
like that.
bucks.
Yeah, but like the gameplay parts of it when you get to play, the reason I like it is it reminds me of the AI battles in Injustice 2 and Mortal Kombat 11, I think. Yeah, something like that.
The tower stuff.
Yeah. It's like that. You can do AI battles and graphics are cool and stuff like that. So
I like this long-haired Nova. Is that a thing?
Long-haired Nova in
he has like a main in this game.
Really? I don't think I noticed. Nova
Nova long hair.
Cosmic, what is it? Cosmic what?
Cosmic Invasion.
Let's see. What's he look like in this game?
A little reminiscent of like Cyclops with his longest hair.
Oh wow. I don't think I knew he had all that long hair. That's pretty funny. I do like that a lot of the characters look like they stole the animation style from the old school Marvel vs. Capcom games and stuff. You know, like even Wolverine, like some of his animations look straight up lifted from those.
Oh, I mean
those
that's very
fighters.
much intentional, right? Like
Yeah, exactly. But Spider-Man, same, looks, a lot of them look like that. So like, I love seeing games like this. They're really beautiful to see all the effort that goes into them. I just hope that there's a good replay value to it. Like that you really want to keep going back and doing more. But yeah, I don't know what to say about Nova's hair. That is an impressive
another
mane.
ginger to the roster.
There you go.
All right. The big news this week, ladies and gentlemen,
the snooze
came
fest
yesterday. On the 26th, Marvel did a 5.5 hour long live stream revealing part of the cast for Avengers Doomsday. I don't think we should list them off, but I'll say out of the numerous people who were named, who are you most excited to see again?
Channing Tatum.
All right.
That's it.
Channing Tatum's back, everybody.
But I kind of expected it to happen. But I think that, okay, I'm just going to put this out there. That reveal was a shit show. And I'm not even a guy that sat there watching the whole thing.
So for context, the video starts out with a chair with someone's name. So Chris Hemsworth, the first
like
one.
A stagehand bringing out
there's
a cast chair.
Yeah, and there's background music, and then every 13 minutes.
Was it 13 minutes? Was it?
It was about 13. I was following it all day.
Okay, gotcha.
Every 13 minutes, another chair would get placed with another actor's name on it. But granted, there is probably I think like 25 people in total that were announced for this movie.
Yeah.
So it took like 3 an hour basically of people.
It's like a full work day for some people. Just
it was. That was my work day. I just had because it had like background noise. I had that on, and every 13 minutes, I'm like, all right, the chair's up. Who else is next?
Yeah, it was weird. Like, I mean, fairness, like I was working on my computer, so like I had it over there in the corner, and whenever I'd hear noise, I'd go look at it for a while. But eventually, I'm like, F this, man. I'm gonna go eat lunch, and I ate lunch, watched some TV, and when I came back, I'm like, oh look, all the old X-Men are there. Cool, whatever. And I was like, this is way easier to just catch up with this later. You know what I mean? Like, this is so much easier. Like, and so I'm not even gonna say that I feel like sad or upset for the streamers who are like, chomping at the bit to release new content immediately on the spot. Like, I know there's some content creators that were like super pissed because they didn't feel like Marvel valued their time and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, you always had the choice to walk away from that thing. Once the first 2 chairs came out, like it became pretty freaking obvious how long this was going to be.
Anything.
Yeah, they don't owe you anything. And so that said, I do think it was a really dumb live stream just because, like, why are we doing this in 13
we're talking
minutes?
about it, and they dominated the news cycle yesterday. Everyone forgot about those text messages for 5 hours yesterday.
What text messages?
Oh, the stupid national security text message breach that happened.
Oh man, I don't think I even knew about that.
Other news, real life news.
Should I be worried?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, didn't.
Okay. No, but I get they want us to talk about it, and that's fine, and I get they want us to feel a certain way about it, and I felt a certain way, and I know Ricky, you were telling me I was salty, but like I honestly feel like, here's the thing, I looked it up today. Disney acquired Fox in March of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That was 6 years ago now, right?
Yeah,
6 years ago. what have we like? We all were excited because the promise was, fuck yeah, we can finally get a new Fantastic Four and a new X-Men. Now, don't get me wrong, they're making good on the Fantastic Four promise. We all are very excited. I know I shit on it sometimes. I make it sound like I'm not excited. No, I'm absolutely excited for that movie. I'm just more excited for Superman. Okay. But like I'm very happy with the things I've seen about the Fantastic Four. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But like, let's be real here, dudes. We want some X-Men. We want some new
I mean,
X-Men. Bad.
and I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending them, but you got to shave 3 years off, right? 2 for COVID, 1 for the strike, like just off the board. But I think the Kang stuff, the Jonathan Major situation, like fucked up some shit really bad.
I know.
Like
But then
really, like there's gonna be a tell-all book that's gonna come out about what exactly happened, and not in his like case or anything, but like the repercussions of them choosing to drop him, and how deep some of those maybe those stories threads went,
yeah.
that had to get dropped and rewritten.
But here's the thing. Last year, what was the greatest TV show we watched last year?
X-Men.
By far, right? Like it was so awesome, and it was so fun to hear collectively the entire community, the entire comic book community, the entire nerd community was just like, well, that show's the best thing ever that's like been out in a long time. Some of the best MCU content, or sorry, Marvel TV.
I mean,
content,
I'd be willing to bet that show pushed back any movie as well.
I know, right? And so
Like,
I
oh
think,
shit, the bars
but
even
we
higher.
all said, hey, look, we know they're not ready for the movies yet, so we're gonna take this and run with it because this is great. This is excellent content, and I just feel like, okay, guys, are we just gonna keep punting to another year over and over again? So for me, it feels like I know you were saying like, well, it's kind of cool that they're at least doing the thing, and I felt like the reason I got like so upset about that statement, again, I'm not mad at you for the news. I'm not mad at you for delivering news. I am not trying to shoot the messenger. But I do think that what you say about these things is not, you're not the only one feeling that way, right? You like, you represent a group of people that do feel a certain way about like they're okay with this because they know they're not going to get the thing they want right now, which is we want new X-Men, right? We do.
Yeah.
Like we all
Proper
want new
X-Men.
X-Men.
Proper new
We
X-Men.
want proper X-Men in the right costumes. That's why Deadpool and Wolverine was kind of fun last year, because it's like, well, Hugh Jackman is like the most committed of all of them, right? And also we put him in the costume, and that's super cool. But like, let's be real, dude. Like, I don't want to see Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen now. Like, we saw Patrick Stewart in Doctor Strange, and it was okay. It
Put
was
him back in the chair
okay.
one more time. You know,
But he's way older now, dude.
he
Like,
needs
he's
it now.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know that I want to see what Ian McKellen looks like as Magneto now. You know, I don't want to see, and this is, I'm not trying to body shame. I'm not trying to be ageist. I don't want to see Rebecca Romaine as Mystique now. Okay, you know, like
my gut with it and why I'm more positive than you on it is I think it's gonna give us. It'll give us I mean, it's all gonna be fan service, but fan service moments that we didn't get at the time due to the lack of a more fantastical story, or
we're not getting it.
CG. Like it,
but we're not getting the X-Men versus the cool Avengers. We're getting like what was the Avengers team in there? You know what I mean? Like I barely saw any Avengers in that team.
You got Captain America, Thor, and Ant-Man. That's the greatest.
Like, can we talk for a second about the ones missing from the list, right?
I mean, the big ones are, you're missing a Spider-Man, you're missing a
Star-Lord,
missing a
we're
Doctor
missing
Strange,
a Hulk,
missing
Hulk,
Hulks. Both Hulks.
Hulks. Yes, both Hulks. But I'm just saying, as far as like the core Avengers that we know, I saw
Yeah.
no War Machine, no Scarlet
No.
Witch,
Nope.
no Vision,
Nope.
no Hawkeye.
Nope.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand that this was a partial reveal, right? Like
Mhm.
it could be a partial reveal. And they're definitely manipulating us to be excited for things that, you know, we would be more excited about if we just saw it in theaters. But like, I think the other thing that kind of weirds me out about this is it's like you guys kind of like spoiled Thunderbolts. Like, why couldn't you wait like 1 month to do this reveal? You know what I mean?
I think so. The movie just started filming like this week.
Yeah.
And th- I think the reason why they did it was for better or for worse, stuff's gonna come out about that
Yeah, I know.
movie. It's it's probably, I mean, it is the biggest production on the planet right now.
Yeah,
It will at worst still be one of the highest grossing movies of all time. Like I think
for sure.
the sheer numbers of that. So I can see them wanting to just get ahead of it, before. Like, all
Yeah,
right,
I know.
let the cat out of the bag. My my nitpick with all this, I wish they I was thinking, okay, they're doing all the chair thing. At the end of the 5 hours, there's gonna be a doom, right? Like you're gonna show him. And to be fair, they had Robert Downey Jr., but he was as himself. Um, but to
Wait, did
that
they
point,
show Robert Downey Jr. at the end?
yeah, he was the last. So he was the actual last person, and
Oh,
he
I
he
guess I didn't see
he
that part.
he sat in his own chair.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Yeah,
Okay, my bad.
yeah, that was like
Again,
the
I checked
finale.
out. I checked
Yeah,
out. Remember? Okay,
he sat in his own chair, and they played what people are assuming is like
his
the
music.
the Doom theme or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but
It's
you
like I
know,
said in the middle, like at hour 3.5, I was like, you know, the weird part of this is RDJ is the star of this movie. So all these people might get like 3 minutes of screen time or something like that. You know, like it's so strange. But it's cool. Like I'm excited that the movie will exist. I am. I promise. I will think it's fun when the X-Men show up, but I have a lot of baggage with those X-Men because I think they got done dirty in a lot of ways, and I don't think this is gonna redeem a lot of
I
the
don't
stuff
think
that
so. I
got
don't think so
dirty.
either. It's gonna be like I don't think people care. Like
But
in
I like that's what I'm saying. If I know they got done dirty and I know they're not gonna get redeemed, I would rather see new X-Men that give them a chance to breathe new life into that
because
franchise, you
like
know?
the Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine is not your Wolverine, right?
He's not even, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
and
like
I feel, I mean, just by the way they're doing Beast, I feel like the X Men team is going to be the same, right? They're gonna be adjacent and when ways that matters and not
yeah.
in ways that they don't want to answer.
That's
Or
what I'm just getting I'm
you
so
know
tired of the multiversal, like,
they're not going to explain why
mashups.
Mystique's back, right? Like
Yeah, right? She should be dead. Yeah.
um you know Cyclops is gonna wear the stupid straps. He's gonna say the line. He's gonna do
I
something
st
cool.
I still think it's super weird that Professor X died in Dark in the, what is it? The Last Stand, and then at the end of the movie in the post credits, he takes over some other dude's body and, like, somehow turns into Patrick Stewart. Like, I don't understand what happened in that movie, and we
He's
just have
just tricking us all to make him look like him.
I guess so,
You
whatever.
know,
It's I like, but see, I just like, there's so many questions with that
you're
X-Men
not supposed to
universe,
think about it. You're just
and that's
supposed
my
to.
problem, is it's
You're
like,
not.
I think we did, like, I think the fun
Nightcrawler's
part,
gonna stab a dude. He's Nightcrawler's gonna have the suit on and have a sword in his tail.
but here's the thing, like, do you remember, like, us rewatching phase 1 of the
Hmm.
MCU? Those are really good movies, a lot of them, you know, like,
Yeah,
maybe not the Hulk. Thor's all right. Thor's better than I remember it being, you know, but they're well thought out movies. There's a lot of story. They're very dense, right? There's a lot of content being delivered. And I feel like when you look at phase 1 and then you look at phase 4 or 5, there's a huge difference in the quality of storytelling that we're being given now. And I think it's gotten to the point where Marvel realizes that it's enough to give us these fan service moments, because that really does get butts in seats. And I feel like it's lazy. That's how I feel. You know what I mean?
I think you maybe conflate lazy and safe, and I
Okay, yes, sure, it's safe, because lazy is not the case, because I'm
and
sure they had to jump a lot of hoops. They had to pay a lot of
hey
people a
man,
lot of money.
James Marsden has the uh, jury duty and Sonic money now.
He does. So I guess what I'm saying is they're playing it safe, and it feels like it all comes back to that King problem that they created
Yeah,
with themselves.
it's like what we told Travis. Like you're spending billions, you have to play it safe, right? It's just
Yeah,
it is what it is. But
I just feel like it's going to be poor man's Avengers versus X-Men. Like, and it's like I those aren't the X-Men I want in anymore. You know what I mean? They're old. They're super old now. Like, and let's be honest, like even in their super oldness, they could easily kick the Avengers asses, especially if you don't have Scarlet Witch there. Like those
the X-Men do not have a no kill rule.
I know, right? Exactly. The Avengers that I saw in that lineup have no chance against Fox X-Men. I'm just saying. Like Professor X ends the whole argument right there. But then you got Magneto too. Like it's just so they're gonna write it into some silly thing where it's like, oh
Does
look,
Magneto work with vibranium? Is he?
it's metal's metal, man. Metal's metal. Like don't be Iron Man next to Magneto. I'm just saying that's not a good idea. Don't be throwing your Captain America shield at Magneto. It's not. I don't know. I'm
we
sure it'll be
get a
fun.
Loki and Thor reunion. I think at the very least.
That is the other one that I was excited to see on the list was Tom Hiddleston, for sure,
Yeah.
because I think that guy is the secret sauce to the MCU. Like he's really been there since the very early times, and he's really always committed his performances, and same with Chris Hemsworth too. Like those two are awesome. Like so I was happy to see Chris Hemsworth be the first person on the list. I was happy to see Tom Hiddleston, and I'm honestly happy to see Channing Tatum, because God bless that weird ass voice that he does.
It landed him another job. So.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, so
people were surprised that Tenoch was on here. He had
I was very happy about
a situation.
He had a situation. I don't know about the situation. Are you going to tell us about the situation?
He had some accusations
No.
I think him being included
swept under the rug.
That him being in the movie means it's okay for Disney, so it's okay for me. So the toy's going back up on the shelf.
Nice. Okay. I was happy to see him, but I didn't know about any allegations. So I love Namor. I really think that character is beautiful in that movie, and I really, really, really want to see Namor with the Fantastic Four. Like that is appropriate. He is a Fantastic Four character as far as I'm concerned, even though he exists way before the Fantastic Four in the comics. Like
the original Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about it, but ultimately I'll be happy. But I just think the event itself was icky. Like that's how I feel. Like I think
icky about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. So
all right,
you want to talk about the other thing?
Let's talk about the other things. This week we got a double dose, double D of Daredevil with episode 5 and 6. Do you just want to go episode by episode, or do you just want to talk about them collectively?
We'll talk about them collectively, but I'm going to put this out there. It might have technically been a double dose, but it felt like less filling of a meal than the last episode.
We just ordered apps this week,
right? They felt like appetizers that were a little too long. Like they just felt like, oh man, like let's be real. The bank episode was charming at times, and it was downright gross at times too, right? Like The scene where Matt Murdock and Yusuf are talking way too long about Kamala Khan, that was really
That was
awkward.
fine.
It was
It was,
not fine. It was not fine.
he
It
had
was
to
gross.
remind everyone who he was, and
I wish they wouldn't have, because, like, let's be honest. The second episode, or episode 6, Jack Duquesne showed up, the swordsman,
mhm.
and they didn't even bother to mention his name. You just had to remember who he was. And I kind of like that more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're both from the same show.
No, Jack
Kingpin and was in Hawkeye.
Oh, Hawkeye. Yes, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it worked. It worked
I'll
better. Like, I also thought it was weird that, like, Daredevil's explaining the entire, like, premise of his show to Yusuf. He's like, "Oh, well, this is why I do this and this." I'm like, I kind of like the part where, for the last 4 seasons of the show, you've just been showing us who you are. So it's kind of icky that you're just, like, telling us your whole mission statement.
I'll applaud it both episodes for playing with the toys. Right? Cool. Yusuf might be a peg warmer, might be a Comic-Con exclusive pack toy.
Ain't
But
no
still a toy.
No, you know.
Still a toy. So to see Daredevil play with another known quantity, or interact with another known quantity in both episodes, I thought it was charming, right? And both were appropriate in terms of the character. Like, I don't think they were forced in their meeting. Was the use of stuff maybe that went on a little too long?
He brought out
Yeah.
a Funko Pop. There became a Funko
custom
ad.
Funko Pop.
There was a Funko ad in that episode.
It breaks my heart to know that Funkos exist in the MCU.
I'm not saying it breaks your heart. Oh, does it?
It breaks my. I hate Funkos. I hate Funkos with passion.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I think the other thing that really weirded me out about that episode is just, like, Matt was the worst hostage ever.
Yeah, he almost got everyone killed like 3 times.
So many times. And it's just like, I didn't understand these bad guys just kept, like, letting him walk all over them. And I'm like, are you guys being ableist? Is this what, like, he's clearly standing after you told everybody to get down on their knees, and you're not doing anything about it. Like, do I like the part where Daredevil kicked the shit out of all of them? Of course I did.
Yeah, they had to remind you that he's Daredevil, and it's the best way they can do it.
Do I like the part where he actually put on a mask at the end to go catch that guy who got away, like the Devlin guy or whatever his name was, the Devlin's one of the cops.
The main guy.
Yeah, the main cop the main fake guy fake cop that got away. I love that he put on a mask to go kick his ass. That was awesome. I think the diamond was supposed to be the diamond that goes on the top of Kingpin's cane. In, like, I think that's what was happening there, because
small, right? I feel like it's big.
Kingpin has a cane in the comics, and it's got a big giant orange diamond on the top of it, and I think that's what we were playing with in this episode. Like, it's what they would call, like, a bottle episode, right? Like, the whole episode takes place in this one location in the bank.
Yeah,
that's it. Like, and it felt weird. It felt contained. It felt confined. It felt removed from the larger narrative that we've been experiencing for like the last 4 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever. It just felt like a one-off, like, a one shot.
I joke, but like it's like, oh shit! Like we talked about last week, for like, how long is it a problem in this show until Daredevil? Like, how long can Daredevil go without being Daredevil in this show? And I think they proved it with like 2 episodes. Every 2 episodes, he has to fight somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, he finally, like, so that's let's get to the other episode, because I'm kind of done with the St. Patty's Day episode. Like, I don't. Do you have anything else you want to add to that episode? Like, it was.
I don't want to knock it enough to where I don't want to see more of it.
I don't mind getting fun episodes of Daredevil, like, taking down bad guys, for sure. Like, that's fine. But I just feel like, if we know that we're only getting 9 episodes, it was a very
left turn from the narrative that we're getting. So maybe ease us into, like, the fun stuff.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I don't know if we're ready for the fun stuff yet. Like maybe they thought we needed it, but I would have preferred a flashback or something instead of that. You know what I mean? Because I know that takes place right after him meeting with Frank. You know, like that's kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
but moving on to the next the other episode, this might be a product of our own conversations last week. But Travis got me really hyped for the moment that Matt finally puts the costume back on. And I got to tell you, it felt pretty lukewarm when it actually happened in this episode. Like when he just said, fuck it. Like that part was funny, but
Yeah.
but then I don't know. It didn't feel great. Also,
It
I might
it
not
felt
have.
weird because it was a parallel scene with Kingpin, and
Yeah.
where Kingpin finally reaches the point where he has to start being Kingpin to do the things that he wants to do in the city.
Hmm.
And same thing, Matt needs to be Daredevil again to stop the crime that's happening in the city. And they're almost reluctant to do it, but
They
like
really want to, too.
the Green Goblin mask, right? Their
Yeah.
suits or their pasts are calling them. I think the buildup was good, but
The payoff was not, right?
the payoff wasn't.
Yeah. That CG was pretty bad. Like the CG was bad. Like
I
I
yeah,
was I was feeling the I was feeling uncomfortable.
I don't think Muse is done.
No, because he got away for sure.
But
But he is
like
not a good fighter at
yeah,
all.
he kind
Like
of got his ass handed.
he got his ass handed to him, and like I was like, Angela, when do you get the medallion? Because this is getting dumb. Like this is like, can we just put a medallion on her now? Like I don't know.
The other
Also, side note, Angela has AIDS now. Okay,
well, yeah. So
he was
the
not cleaning those tools between.
blood is a big part of this episode, right? The reveal is like the murals are made out of blood, which that is pulled from the comics, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yeah,
Um,
I
but
mentioned
when
that to you guys
Daredevil's
last week.
fighting in the sewer with Muse, which I know New York has a big sewer
Is it
system,
the
but I
sewer or the subway
the
it's the
subway
subways? Yeah.
subways. I feel like that'd be like more of a Punisher thing, but sure, they fight. Daredevil was like bleeding a lot in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you
It's
like
it's
clean? Do you clean that up, bro? Like,
it's gross. It's gross. Like it's
you're
all gross.
telling me the cops aren't gonna swab every bit of blood in the blood guy's layer and not figure you
I don't know.
out? um,
I did like watching Wilson put together his creepy task force of like all the bad cops. Like that was cool.
that was very cool. That was I'm trying to think how I can phrase it.
Are you cautiously waiting for when that happens in real life?
No, it that scene can tie back to my work, but I don't want to like. I'm trying to see if I want to talk about that or not.
Oh, fair enough. Then don't do it.
I'm not.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene, and that was a neat scene on how he picks these people to start to do their bidding or do his
Mm-hmm.
bidding. Um, yeah.
But I think ultimately both episodes felt like just stretched out more than they really needed to be. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they like I get why they dropped two of them, because I think either one of them by themselves would have been incredibly unfulfilling and people would have been really pissed. Like if if we just got the bank episode after last week, I think people would have been rioting.
Mhm.
If we just got the Muse episode, I think people would have been like, meh, it's okay, you know. So like I think giving us the two together, it felt like a complete Daredevil experience, but it took me like 2 hours to watch the whole thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, so I'm happy he
What's the
put the
Private
costume on.
Eyes guy's name?
Cherry,
Cherry.
yeah,
The other big fault with that episode is like at the beginning, he makes a point to be like, "Hey Matt, there's this serial killer. Here's all the details about him, but don't go looking for him."
I know it was weird.
And
Like,
he's one of the few people in the show right now that knows he's Daredevil.
yeah.
It's just like it was weird. It was
Well, I think his plan wasn't to do anything, but then Angela ended up missing, right? And that's that when Angela's aunt called, like, to say, have you seen her? I don't know where she is. I'm freaking out. Then he's like, fuck it. Like that's like, so I really love the liberal use of the F-bombs we're getting in the show now, man. It's good. It's good. Like those bank robbers were using it. Like everybody's just dropping F-bombs in the show.
It's New
And
York. It wouldn't be New York without F-bombs.
exactly. It feels very natural. But no, yeah, I do appreciate that Matt felt this was justifiable. I just think we were victims of our own hype, in that Travis really got us believing that, oh man, when he finally puts that suit on, it's gonna go down. And it didn't really go down. It was like, like I almost thought he wasn't gonna put that suit on until it was time to fight Kingpin, But then it was for this random guy who really sucked at fighting and got his ass thoroughly whooped, and I just don't even understand how he got away.
The flip side, Kingpin kind of throwing down some moves.
Yeah,
I mean, he hasn't been the most like active fighter in the MCU, but
he beat the crap out of Adam, and I can't believe Adam's still alive.
Yeah,
I can't believe Adam's alive at the end of that episode. That was weird to me.
The thing with Kingpin is he's like all muscle, right? That's like the comic reasons.
Like, yeah, that's the silly comic book justification. It's all muscle, even though it looks like fat. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we could nitpick, we could keep going on about it. But
I think we were all both down, but I don't want to say that. I don't think we're both down on the series.
Yes, correct.
They were just very.
They weren't.
When my dad and I were growing up, my dad we would always go on road trips, right? And back then, my dad was like, "Oh, I gotta get cash." And rather than go to the ATM, we'd have to go to the specific bank's ATM. And these detours were always like way out of the direction that we were heading. We were super excited to go somewhere, and then we had to drive another 15-20 minutes to go to the stupid fucking ATM. And that's what I felt with this episode. Like, oh, we were really going somewhere with these episodes. We're building to something a little bit more serious.
You felt the train go off its tracks, right? You felt the derailing of the show. And I think that's very noticeable. And I think that's why people might want to call it filler. It's not necessarily filler. The bank one was super filler. Okay. Cause like, what was the end outcome of that one? Like, I know they did mention that, like, that he was trying to get that thing to Luca. So like, and they kind of mentioned that again, cause Luca shows up in the Kingpin's office in the next episode and is threatening him and saying, stay out of my way, blah, blah, blah. So it's loosely connected to the larger story, but like just in the most superficial way. Right. So like that bank episode was super filler. I do like the Muse episode because like, I loved that like Wilson was secretly trying to get all these awesome murals taken down. And they're like, look, boss, I tried to do it, but it's freaking blood. It's like, whoa, dude, that's gnarly. Like, that's really gross. Like, I know I spoiled it for you guys last week, but it's still super gross to hear that these beautiful murals are epoxied on there with blood in them. And like, they're crime scenes. They're straight up crime scenes, all of these things, And then when Muse just gets so brazen about it, like to the fact that he knows the cops are keeping it hush hush. So he just murders 2 women and leaves their bodies there in front of the mural that he makes. Like, yeah, this character is very dangerous. And I was very mad at Matt for somehow not noticing that he escaped. Like, that was, I would just think, like, while you're saving Angela, you hear a guy get up on his feet, you just whip your stick behind yourself and hit him in the head and knock him out, whatever, like, I don't know.
Like after almost choking him.
It just felt weird that he got away. Like, it didn't make sense, like, that he would do that. So that was just one of the many nitpicks I had, but I still enjoyed watching Daredevil be Daredevil.
When he's running down the subway in that suit.
Oh man,
Muse was just cool. Like looking at him like,
he's like, what is that? Boom, I'll get my ass kicked. Oh shit, like, that part was cool. So don't get me wrong, I like, there are things I liked. I just felt like in this grand scale of like if last week was like 10 out of 10 amazing, these were like 7s. Like they were 7s, you know, like and
Yeah.
You know, we were just starting to feel about Foggy. We were feeling a certain way, and like we were feeling like, oh, he needs to go to Frank for permission.
I don't think either of us have lost confidence that this show will pick back up next week.
Yeah. I believe they can course correct for sure. So, but yeah, that's how I felt about it. And so you know, so I'm just gonna go read a Batman comic after this and just be happy because like Daredevil didn't do it for me this week. You know, sorry.
I think that's where we'll wrap it up. Go visit your local comic book store if you can.
Yeah.
When's Free Comic Book Day? Is that
May 3rd?
May 3rd.
That's going to be the weekend that Thunderbolts comes out.
Okay, Thunderbolts weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, true believers, enough said.